Are you thinking about buying a short-term rental in Park City, Utah? Well, in this video, I'm going to be talking about the 10 things that you should know before buying a short-term rental in Park City, Utah, or one of the surrounding areas such as Jordanelle, Mayflower, or like Deer Valley. I think the biggest misconception when people are looking to buy a short-term rental, and it's sort of like a novice investor mistake, is that they think that Park City is going to be a monthly cash flowing type area. And that is absolutely not the case, unfortunately. I wish that was the case. There are a couple of ways that buying a short-term rental could be more cash flowing for you. However, majority of the time, it's not the case. So I will be talking about those in today's video as well. Usually buying a short-term rental in Park City is only going to cash flow if you're somebody who's able to buy a property in cash. You bought a property like 30 years ago and you've just held on to it, or you've sold it and rolled it into other investments in Park City and you were able to kind of keep a positive cash flow going that way. I have talked to numerous property management companies all over Park City, one in particular named Vacasa, and they said, hey, look, Park City does not positive cash flow. And Park City, and if you could talk to anybody in Park City, it is not typically a place that produces high annual returns each year. Rather, it's a place that appreciates like crazy, and you make your profit when you sell the property down the line. Another way that this property could potentially cash flow for you is if you bought it thinking you wanted to use it as a nightly rental, and then you realized, hey, this is more expensive than we're kind of comfortable with each month, and it's really not paying for itself. It's only paying for itself 8 months out of the year. You could also choose to rent it out long term. You could do a 6-month lease, you could do a 12-month lease, and that could potentially help you positive cash flow on the property. It just kind of depends on the area that you're looking in and the budget that you have and how expensive the property is that you're purchasing. First thing to consider when you're buying a short-term rental in Park City is it close to activities? What kinds of activities is it near? When people are coming here as tourists or travelers or people who are on vacation, they want to be close to activities. So they want to be close to skiing, they want to be close to Main Street, they want to be close to biking, they want to be close to the mountains, to all the outdoor activities. The most exciting place for people who are vacationing here to be is somewhere near Deer Valley, Park City Mountain Resort, or Main Street. The next thing to consider when you are buying a short-term rental is the location. Location is everything in Park City. Location, location, location. Again, like I said, when people are coming here, the people that are renting out your property are coming here on vacation, and they want to be where all the action is. They're probably coming here to ski. So they want maybe a ski and ski out property. Maybe they want a place that you're able to just jump on the bus, because a lot of people that come here, they don't have cars. So if you buy somewhere that has easy access to the bus, that's also a bonus. And the third thing to take into consideration when you're buying a short-term rental is the amenities. Is there a pool? Is there a gym? Is there a clubhouse attached to this? Does it have walking trails nearby where people can jump on the bike path or go for a walk? Are there hiking trails nearby? Are you buying something that is like literally at the base of Park City, Deer Valley, or canyons where there's tons of things to do in the summer or the winter? And the fourth thing to consider when you're buying a short-term rental, the style of the property. But style plays into a big deal of whether your rental is going to be sitting and people don't really want to rent it out because it has dated decor, or it's really old, or the appliances are really old, or it's just not an inspiring style. Is it really modern? Is it really traditional? Is it something that's really old? Most of the time people want to stay in updated properties. So something that has really great decor and is not dated and is in good condition and is very clean. The next thing that you need to know about when you're buying a short-term rental is associated with it. Park City is a very high fee area. We are resort town real estate. which is why I always say you're not going to cash flow if you have a mortgage, because you also have these other fees on top of your purchase. So depending on where you buy, you might hire a property manager because you want to be totally hands off and you would prefer to just have somebody manage the property for you and look after it because you're out of state and you don't want to have to deal with that. And there are a lot of different property managers around Park City. Some cost more than others, some have higher splits than others, and some have lower splits than others. And it just means like how hands-on they're going to be. People that have higher splits are going to be more full service. People that have lower splits are not going to be as full service, and you might have to do more things yourself. You also have the opportunity, if you're an experienced investor, maybe an experienced in short-term rentals, to Airbnb or VRBO. However, there are neighborhoods and subdivisions and specific locations where you might not be able to Airbnb your property or VRBO your property out. You also have to take into account your HOA fees. Mostly everywhere in Park City is going to have an HOA fee. And if you're buying something that is a short-term rental, it's definitely going to have an HOA fee. It might even have a master association. Being somewhere in Deer Valley or Canyons Village, you can definitely expect to probably be paying for 2 HOAs. Then you also have to kind of add in transfer fees. Now, most of the time, these are one-time fees. A transfer fee, a reinvestment fee, an application fee, and a lot of times sellers want these transferred to the buyer. So when you buy this property, it's a one-time transfer fee, and there are certain areas that are very high. Most of the time it's like 0.5%, sometimes it's less. At Canyons Village, it's actually 2%. Now the only areas at Canyons Village that do not have that 2% buyer transfer fee that are not under the CVMA Master Association are Red Pine and Hidden Creek, and maybe some areas in the Park West area, which is just literally across the street, like if you went straight through the stoplight at the Canyons. You also have to account for repairs and maintenance, and that you're buying in a ski town. So if there's a year where there's a lot of snow, you're gonna have to get probably the snow shoveled off the roof if you're buying like a townhome or something. So want to take into consideration your property taxes, the maintenance of the property, and any special assessments, future assessments, or current assessments on the property. A lot of the older properties in Park City are having a hard time keeping up with the newer properties. They're going to start having roof assessments, siding assessments, and window assessments. So that's definitely something you want to know about. If you have to furnish the place, if you're not buying a condo that comes fully furnished, like there's a lot of condos that are sold fully furnished. However, is it the decor that you want? Is it going to give you the highest return, or you're going to have to sell all the furniture and buy new furniture anyway? Those are some unexpected hidden expenses that a lot of novice people forget about when they are thinking about buying a short-term rental. And also you want to take into consideration the seasonality of Park City. We are not Miami. We do not have beautiful weather year-round. Okay, it's the end of April. So if we have a good snow season versus if we have a bad snow season, that is something that you're going to want to know about. So I rode up on the chairlift with a friend of my husband's, and they have a condo in Old Town, and they said it's awesome. It pays for itself about 8 months out of the year. So you need to keep that in mind, that it really only pays for itself 8 months out of the year, and then there's the other 5 where it's not paying for itself. And the next thing that you want to know about is how much can you actually get for a nightly rate. Now, I am not a property management company, so I suggest you do your research ahead of time, and you call property management companies, or you go on their websites, or you start looking up short-term vacation rentals in the Park City area, Google it, and see what the rates are going for. What does somebody get for a 3-bedroom in Old Town during the winter versus something in Deer Valley versus something at Canyons Village versus what are people getting for townhomes? What are people getting for a single family home? What are people getting for hotel condos? These are all different types of property, and they all have different nightly rental rates. You could also go into Airbnb and do some of this research. Another great website is called AirDNA, and it'll kind of give you, there is a free portion of it and there is a paid version of it, but it will give you like what you can expect for your like nightly rates for each month of the year, and how much occupancy you can expect. And most of the time, like the occupancy is usually like 39-40%. Like that's what it is. I made another video kind of talking about all of this stuff, and I'll link it right here if you want to go check out that video after. So you definitely need to keep in mind that you're going to get a very big paycheck in the winter, you're going to get a small one in the summer, and there are going to be mud seasons where your property might not be rented out at all. And if you're lucky, it might be rented out very little. If people come here during the spring, more people would probably come here during the fall because it's prettier. But again, it's not a crazy time for your nightly rental to be booming. What do smaller properties rent out for versus what do larger properties rent out for? How different types of properties can have different nightly rates. And if you really need help with this, if you're someone that's really struggling, just call a property management company and ask them. Again, Google is your best friend on that. Which brings me to the 8th thing that you need to think about. So there's different types of nightly rentals. There is single family. So if you want to buy a house and rent out an entire house, or if you want to buy a condo and rent out a condo, it's like a multi-stacked condo, or if you're looking for a condo hotel. Now, Deer Valley has a lot of condo hotels, and so does Canyons Village. Now, something to note with these is they're very, very difficult to finance. So if you are thinking about buying a short-term rental, you really need to have your money and your financing ducks in a row, because the last thing that you want is for your lender to write you back when you're under contract and say, I can't lend on this because it's a hotel condo. And if you need a lender that will lend on hotel condos, I have a ton that I can refer you to. However, you need to know if your lender can lend on that. Best way to know if your lender is going to be able to give you financing on this is to call them and ask them if they will lend on it by giving them the property address that you are thinking about purchasing. And that is the fastest way to know they're going to be able to finance it or not, because the last thing you want to do is be under contract and find out you can't get financing for it, and now we have to go find a new lender and change all the timelines. It's going to irritate the seller and it's going to back things up. So just have your financing ducks in a row if you are getting financing, but be prepared. If you are getting financing, there's no way that you're going to cash flow on this unit unless you potentially are able to rent it out long term. The only way to really positively cash flow maybe is to pay in cash. And the 9th thing that you need to think about is, where are the best spots to actually buy a short-term rental in Park City? Well, you're paying more money to make more money. So the best places that I believe for short-term rentals are Old Town, Deer Valley, and Canyons Village, because people want amenities, they want location, and they want an updated style and decor of a property. When somebody is looking for a property to nightly rental out, they don't want something that's dated and like totally 90s. So if you are looking at a property that might need some remodeling, you're going to have to also take that expense into account. Also, the Mayflower area out by Jordan Mill, where the new Mayflower ski resort is going in. I've also made a ton of videos about Mayflower, so if you're curious about Mayflower, go look over here. However, this is a very early investment of this area. There's not a lot of things out here yet. It is a construction site. Things are going up. The Mayflower is going to happen. However, it's still a few years down the line. So if you're somebody who can see that investment and play the long game and not be so frantic about needing, about holding your property and needing like cash flow right away, or needing to be able to have it pay for part of itself right away, then this could be a fabulous area to start investing in, because most of it is new construction. One thing that you want to think about when you are purchasing a nightly rental is obviously your goals. Why do you want to land in Park City? Most of the time, the goals of people who I help buy short-term rentals in Park City is not that they are straight up investors. It is the fact that they want a place where they can spend time with their family, with their friends, that eventually maybe this could be a place they could retire in. It's more of a vacation pad, and they are just excited that as a bonus, that when they rent it out, whenever they want to rent it out, if they choose to even rent it out at all, that it can sort of offset the cost of homeownership, like paying for the property management company, paying for all the HOA fees, and paying for the property taxes. So again, I want to remind you that Park City is not typically an area that produces high annual returns. It's not typically a positive cash flowing area. Again, your unit or your condo or your house might pay for itself 8 months out of the year, but then you have 5 months where it's not going to be paying for itself. So you really have to plan ahead financially, understand where you're investing in, really understand the locations, understand the different types of property, understand what paying cash does versus getting a loan, and then also having to pay a mortgage on top of all the other fees that I discussed. Hey, my name is Nicole Bowdle, and I am a local real estate agent in Park City, Utah. If you liked this video, then make sure you go check out more videos about short-term rentals on my channel. I have different areas, and the Canyons is also a great area to consider buying a short-term rental or a vacation home.